Welcome to the WoodsTalk podcast. I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, baby, and I don't want to miss a thing. Welcome back to the WoodsTalk podcast, everybody. With me and special guest, Aaron of House Mc Cann. Namaste, sir. How's it going?
How's it going, sir? How are you? You made namaste there sound like a greeting in Drumquin.
Oh, for sure. Namaste, sir. Namaste in the house and thump the plum.
Namaste to you, David.
Namaste.
Chatting in oil boy at the pub. You're like, how you getting on, Derek? I'm trying to namaste off the drink, sir. Fucking wrecking me.
Namaste off the crack. Jesus. Very gives me a dicky tummy. The old crack. That's my dad's thing. Anytime you try and say to my dad about like spicy food, he's like, nah, dicky tummy. Can't do it. Dicky tummy. I'm like,
Dicky tummy.
Dicky tummy. Oh, I.
That's hilarious. Oh. I've never heard that expression before.
Yeah. So we're going to pretend like this isn't our second attempt at doing this episode because you've had a bit of a power outage in the house. But we did talk about the fact that it's nearly a year since you were on this fucking podcast, which is mental, I have to say.
I honestly thought that me and you would do one Zoom podcast. And then the next time we see each other would be like the next time we podcast would be actually seeing each other. But here we are, sir. Fucking year later, still using this shit.
Because to be honest, when we were trying to get this back sorted again, I was just thinking that the only time outside of that initial podcast you did with me is maybe when you were doing the shows in the Limelight with Colin. I met you for coffee before one of the shows. Remember Jordan was there, Shane were in the Clayton. I think that might have been the only time I've been in the same room as you since, well, even spoke to you.
That would make sense, man. That because like I have seen like there's been like 5 people that I've had in like constant rotation, and like that's it. I haven't really seen anybody else. And like even those 5 sometimes get like bumped down depending on what lockdown it is or some shit like that. So yeah, I haven't seen fucking anybody. Yeah,
it's weird. It's so hard to like try and keep up because, you know, in general, time's fucked for sure in terms of, you know, general. Then because all our lockdowns and there's tiers and bubbles and it's so changeable from day to day, you don't feel like you've had a routine or any sort of, you don't feel like you have any memory at all because, like, as I say, that feel like when I met you in the Clayton for those Limelight shows, and I can't even remember when they were, that feels like before we even went into lockdown to me. That's how fucked my head is. Does that make sense?
Oh, it's mad. Like my sister was chatting to me the other day and I was like, it literally feels like I've just lost like a year, like doing nothing. And she was like, well, everyone's in the same boat. And I was like, not exactly. You're fucking like, you've a win, you know? You're not losing like a year, your 20s, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm out here in my prime fucking years, just wasting away doing Zoom quizzes and fucking
chatting to me.
Unhinged.
And fucking chatting to Rory Woods on Monday night. For fuck's sake. It's mad because I suppose too, when we were last speaking, your general vibe was trying to move to London. I understand that's still the case, but obviously that's been delayed by the good guts of a year. I mean, did you have much sorted for going over to London? Because I know you've been talking about it for a while. Did you have a place and everything sorted, or was it easy enough for it to be cancelled?
Dead eye fuck. Just like I never like see I've always been like way too laid back about everything in terms of organization, and it could be literally anything. I'm just like, it'll work out, it'll be grand, it'll sort itself out. And this was no different. Like when I moved to LA, that's how I ended up living with 40 people in a house because I left it too late and I found all I could get was this fucking random like advert on Craigslist that literally I was like, I will probably, you know, get sexually assaulted at this place, but if I can cover my hoop for 30 days, I'll find something else.
Oh, for
And
sure.
literally just the exact same here. It didn't do anything. I haven't researched flats and anything like that. Now I do have Tim. I'm going out with Tim, who is a much more, you know, you spoke to him before. He's a much more organized, kind of like has his shit together person. So I think when you're moving out somewhere with someone like that, that kind of like sets your head at rest a wee bit.
For sure, man. I think you know, what's interesting is the way you went out to LA and obviously the London trip. I just have this image of you dandering about, you know, Essex, just going, namaste, sir. Namaste in your house, can I? Any chance? I'm nowhere to namaste at all. So if you could put me up, I'd appreciate that.
I just love poverty. I just love poverty. That's the main attraction for me. Is just being skint is class.
Oh, skint Eastwood. You have to love it. You have to love it, mate. Do you know what I mean?
It's fucking skint Eastwood. That's fantastic.
It's fucking mad, man.
Black belt and puns.
Oh, mate, that's again, that's my thing. It's just so weird. Like I remember you saying about going out to London, and now as you say, that's been pushed back a year. So you should be able to. Are you still thinking of bouncing out this year? That should be all right for maybe later in the year, shouldn't it?
We're just going July. We just said July. Fuck it, we'll go, and whatever happens, happens. Bare minimum, we have a story. So fuck it.
Exactly. So I suppose it's handy that you're both going over because you have the podcast and stuff. I mean, you can kind of podcast on the road a wee bit too, and you know, it won't affect Art Civil really, would it? The move, if anything, it'll probably make it a lot easier for you to pump out as many podcasts as you want, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a sort of yin and a yang effect going on there, because I think living with him for me will help me stay on a bit more of a straight and narrow, and then I feel like for him, you know, I feel like he'll be able to loosen up a wee bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have a pint the odd time maybe if he's feeling cheeky.
Oh, I think it's something you should live stream. It'd be like the new Big Brother, but it's just used to sitting, ironically, watching like Gogglebox. I think that'll be a good dynamic for a sitcom. If you, you know, just eating like Rustler's burger out of a fucking pair of Converse, and he's just sitting there like, you know, rubbing kale on his arse or whatever PTs do. I don't know what they do. Do you know what I mean? It'd be class to see how your vibe goes into his and vice versa. You know what I mean? Because you'd assume living with a PT, that could be interesting, you know, because they're very much workout orientated people. So, you know, high intensity bucking and stuff like that. So if you bring a girl home, you're doing 30 seconds of bucking, 30 seconds of rest, and you're straight back in. Do you know what I mean? And time under tension. Lift them legs and cross trainer.
Well, yeah, bucking, much like a workout for me, is I'd rather just do it in 60 seconds instead of like prolonging it over the course of 45.
Yeah, and you wake up your own protein shake. I mean,
but I just like, I think though, I'm just like, I end up, whatever environment I'm in, I immediately will take in that sort of like atmosphere. So like if I'm around people who have their shit together, I immediately am like, fuck yeah, this is good. Let's like work and let's do something and let's make stuff. Whereas if I'm around a crowd of fucking wasters, you will not see a bigger waster than me. You know what I mean? I'm living with my ma at the minute, and she's a housewife. So I've just been like, watching a lot of Keeping Up with the Kardashians and Good Morning Britain.
You're wanking in an apron. Happy days. You gotta love
just
it.
Pulling my wire, watching Mrs. Finch. That's it.
Pulling your wire. That has to be my favorite. I like plum thumper. I like that. No, you're having like a plum thump session. I like that. But
never heard that.
Just because I invented it. I really like it. But pulling the wire. And do you know what I don't hear anymore? The only person I ever hear say it, and again, it's been a while, is Colin Bangle. I haven't heard Bangle in a while. Do you know what I mean? Smash the Bangle.
Bangle's a good one, yeah.
Sure, that's fucking great. I haven't heard that in ages. Because I'm married.
Bangle's good crack, yeah.
It's not going to be a thing for me anymore. But again, I have to agree, man. I mean, if I wasn't married to a very organized girl, will I be you know, crying right now in a He-Man onesie in the bath watching Suits. And I'd kill for that. Like. Do you know what I mean? So I agree.
Exactly, man.
Tim will be a good sort of not an influence on you, but at least, you know, it's kind of like, you know, the equivalent of, you know, during the lockdown when people were being so productive. If you weren't doing that and you're seeing Insta stories of people building gazebos out of fucking breadsticks in their back garden and all, and you're like, I feel like a useless fucking loser here. It kind of coerces you into doing some shit with your time. Maybe it's kind of like that. If you see Tim, you know, because he's probably up at 3:30 in the morning, you know what I mean, doing kettlebell workouts and, do you know what I mean, and eat boiling lentils or whatever he does. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you sleep into 3:00 and you just get fried chicken and then go back to your bed, after a while you'll be like, I feel like a bit of a tit here.
Yeah, totally.
You still do
totally,
it.
because which is, shame is good. You know what I mean?
Oh,
shame is always good.
Yeah.
Feeling like a piece of shit will make you do more stuff.
Oh, shame, duty, bench.
But even today, right? So I got a new phone, and since we last spoke, right, I've had this phone. I've had like an iPhone 7, and the speaker was fucked, right? So I couldn't take calls unless I had my headphones on. I couldn't therefore like send voice notes or like do stories or record any sort of videos, right? So I haven't posted any video content on Instagram stories in over a year, right?
Yeah.
And then today I went to like record something just with the fact that I could do it, and I was gonna like do something funny or something, and then I wanted to do it and I was like, this is fucking dumb as shit. How the fuck did people do this?
Yeah. Oh man. I feel the same. I have like a weird thing with social media. I have no real skill in terms of social media at all. I'm trying to get better, but I'm trying to find that balance of not being a root while still like having stuff to plug. I don't want to be like, hey guys, you know, like I don't want to sound like a fucking aged influencer. Do you know what I mean? I just want to sound like, oh, how's it going? There's this podcast out or this show's happening. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be that person that's like, hey guys, I'm going to be at Cons Water today outside the card factory.
Yeah.
In a thong. So come see me. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be that. Don't want to be that sort of person. Like,
I feel like it's interesting because like I feel like if you've got the self-awareness to know like what a wanker sounds like on things like that, then you'll go out of your way to not do that. But like I'm trying to get really into like vlogs this year, and it's a shit year to do it because of the fact there's just nothing to do. But I did 2 before and like really enjoyed them, really enjoyed doing them. But in the back of your head, I think it's definitely like a from Northern Ireland thing you kind of have in the back of your head where you're like, this is a bit fucking cringe, or this is a bit weird. But because you have that kind of there, you'll never really stray into that territory too much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always in the back of your mind that you could get a serious slagging if you do like a cheesy, cliched vlog. I agree with you. Maybe, as you say, maybe it's being from here. You're just always aware that your mates will tell you. They'll be like, what the fuck was that video you put up? You know what I mean? So you're always aware that there's a line between cheesy fucking shite and actually just putting out like a decent content. If you, say, if it was LA or something out there, you put up a cool vlog, people are like, that was cool. But as you say, you know what a wanker sounds like, all those influencers, which do my head in. I was thinking about this recently. I don't know if you've got a take on this. If you decide you want to be an influencer, do you reckon, like anything else in the world, you have to start at like the bottom of the pile? So you know the way you can't be an influencer and then the next day be like doing stuff for Alfa Romeo or Mercedes. Do you reckon you have to work your way up? Where you're like, I'm going to be an influencer, and then the next day you're at fucking, do you know what I mean, like Pound Stretcher, or do you know what I mean, some fucking weird place that does, like the place that does pretzels in Castlecourt, just being like, I am a Castlecourt pretzels. You know what I mean? Do you reckon that's like that?
Yeah. Guys, I just want to hop on here for 2 minutes and talk to you about nutty crust bread. And you know what I mean? No better heels in the game, let me tell you.
If you're looking fiber, some job.
But like, that's how you do it. That's honestly how you do it, is like you go for a brand that like is a little bit like weird or like doesn't really match you too well, and then you take the piss out of it. I've seen like people before get like deals with Sprite, and they like, it's like a self-awareness type thing. They make it like kind of metaphysical, where they're like, oh yeah, drink the quench busting fucking lemon and lime flavor of Sprite, and you're like, okay, this person's going out of their way to be a parody of an influencer.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're still getting the fucking the check for it, so why not?
Exactly. Yeah. It's weird that people can make a living from it to the extent where some people now aspire to do that. You know, like it's like if your careers advisor spoke to you when you were in secondary school and you were like, I want to just kind of make videos, plug in products that I didn't make or have nothing directly to do with me. I'm not involved in the production of Nutty Crust. I don't know anything about yeast. I don't know any of that shit. But I want to do videos just going, this is good bread. If you're looking sandwiches or toast, use this bad boy. And the careers advisor be like, that's not a fucking thing. Whereas now it's a almost like a recognized fucking thing. It's mad, isn't it?
Oh, I like Twitch streamers is the one that freaks me out. Where like, you know, these children that like were in a basement for 8 years and got really good at like one game, and then started just live streaming themselves playing it, that had like half a personality. They're like fucking millionaires now. It's insane.
It's mate. It's scary. And so it's obviously like, you know, it's mostly games, isn't it? It does seem to be like people, you know, live streaming like Call of Duty and all that stuff, isn't it? It's not like any other games. Like it's not some fella playing backgammon by himself or anything. It's always like Xbox or something.
Yeah. But again, you can't really think about that because like I'm looking for jobs right now for when I move in July. And like if I was to really think about the annual income of Twitch streamers as I put on my fucking Pret a Manger apron to clock in for a shift, I'd literally kill myself.
Pret a Manger.
So you just gotta be like, listen, that's a thing out there that exists, but it's not in my realm, it's not in my universe, so fuck it.
Yeah, I always thought that was called Pret a Manger too. Huh? I'm fucking Egypt.
No crib for a bed.
Oh, mate, see, mate, see when I did the nativity in P whatever. Do you remember like in the nativity, if you were like half decent, you would get a speaking role. But in like our nativity, I don't know if you had to do this. No, like if you weren't getting a speaking role, you just wore a tea towel on your head. No shit. You're like a shepherd. I'm a shepherd, mate. Do you know what I mean? Getting my flock out for the lads, right? And I was singing a wee bit, like I used to sing a wee bit when I was young, before the voice broke. You know what I mean? I was like the Charlotte Church of Strabane. And for some reason, I can't believe I've never talked about this before. I had to sing a wee bit of Away in a Manger. I had like a wee solo. And obviously the whole thing was set up by like, Mary and Joseph and the child and stuff like that there, and donkeys and stables and all that.
The child? You mean Jesus Christ?
The J man. Oh, Jesus Christo. So anyway,
Mary, Joseph, and the child.
The fucking child's doing the head and won't stop crying. He's got gold frankincense.
I didn't even fucking have it. I didn't even fire a live one on her.
I don't remember bucking you, Mary. I didn't want to bring it up, but I didn't bust a nut anywhere but your jabs the last year and a half. You've been letting me nowhere near your delicious Gwen Stefani. You've been nowhere near it.
Also, stop fucking wearing my raincoat about the house you bought.
Trying to carp over here. That's what I was in the nervous.
Oh, fuck.
So anyway, so Mary's school in Strabane, all the lights down low, and there was like candles and stuff like that there. And I was singing, and I kept singing Away in a Manger, because I just seen the child in the bed, and I was like, Away in a Manger. No crib for a bed. Little Lord.
Fucking, that's the first time you talked about that. You need to make that into a bit immediately, sir.
Oh, sir, immediately. Yeah, I have to. I honestly,
what about the pucker pad?
Oh, mate, I forgot that was even a thing. Because, like, funny enough, like one of my last podcasts I did, I was speaking about how until I was like 13, I used to say malted cheese instead of melted.
Mhm.
Swear to nobody ever, my man never corrected me at all. So I was like, can I get toast with malted cheese, please? And she'd be like, I no worries. And instead of just going, it's fucking melted. You know what I mean? So thank God.
Sir, I have like 1,000 of those.
Yeah, tell me if you.
Well, like literally one of them got exposed last week when I
Really?
was chatting to Tim. I was like, oh, fuck, got big horse racing events on. I was like, are you putting a bet on any horses? And I was like, what do you call it again? Cheltenham? And he was like, sorry, what? And I was like, I Cheltenham, you putting a bet on any of the horses? And then he was like, man, it's Cheltenham. And then do you ever hear the way that it's properly said? And you're like, well, my fucking version's better.
Yeah, I do. I have an example as well. Because I remember, and again, it's just, again, as we said, when you grow up here, people love slagging you. And if you make a whole of yourself, people will let you do it. And then be like at the very end, oh, by the way, you shouldn't have licked that or whatever it is. I remember I was reading something in like P7 and everybody had to read like a couple of pages of this book. And I kept saying cocoa instead of cocoa. But it's spelled cocoa. So I was like, he had a cup of cocoa and he was like, this is delicious cocoa. And people were just like, fucking Specky, lesbian retard there, he loves it. Oh. Cocoa.
Coca.
Cocoa, he used to play for United, didn't he? Cocoa.
Fuck.
Fucking.
I can definitely sympathize with you there.
Yeah. So you had Cheltenham. What? Any others that come to mind?
Oh man, there's so fucking many. Like, I'm trying to think of one offhand here. Just real dumb shit. Like I remember too one time talking about shoes. Now this is like this was whenever there was a stage where there was a top man in Oma, right? Yeah. And literally, if you went to any fucking like sort of teen disco sort of setup, like you just saw 40 lads with a t-shirt with Rihanna half naked on it, with a pair of chinos, and then the shoes were I called them flum soles.
Flum soles.
I called them flum soles because I was like, you know, they're the flumsy. I just sold them flum soles, but I just fucking absolute retard, man.
I just wonder if that's the way you generally got confused. I wonder if you ever like, I really like that Eminem song, The Real Flim Shady. It's fucking class. It's fucking Give me a flim job, would you, Peter?
That sounds like 2 scoops of honeycomb and a flump.
That's desperate about your man Flimmy Savile. Hey? Oh, terrible. Oh, mate. But again, sometimes too, man, it's not even like the word itself. It's maybe the way it's said. Now, I've talked about this before, but if you were aware of it, when do you remember when the restrictions first lifted? That very first sort of time where there was like a couple of weeks where it was like substantial meal and blah blah blah, and there was a bar in Strabane that was open, and I was like, they don't do food, so I don't understand how they're open. And my wee sister was like, they're doing super stew, and I was like, what? And she goes, they're doing super stew, and I was like, what makes the stew so super? What's so good about it? Like, what makes it? Does it wear a cape, or does it fucking have my glasses, or does it work at a local paper? What the fuck makes it super? And she goes, no, you dickhead, soup or stew. It's either or. And I was like, all right. That's just the way she said it. So what the fuck is super stew? Jesus.
To be fair, when you said it there now, I thought super stew.
Exactly. I still don't know. Fucking mad. Super stew. You know what I mean? It fucking, its parents died in an alley, and it's been super ever since. Again, man, you just
served you by Alfred.
Oh, I big Alfredo. He loves it. Mate, I worry for. I don't know if it just seems like every comedian I've ever met, they're just like like you're dead on, but you're clearly should be wearing a bib most of the time. Do you know what I mean? All of us, you're like, how do we? Do you know what I mean? It's fucking. Maybe we were destined for this profession. We were like, we're just professional idiots. Are we professional idiots anymore? Really? Doesn't feel like it. Does it really? After this year, that you're like, people go, "Oh, you're a comedian," and I'm like, "I was until last March."
I,
I'm like,
I is that what they're calling universal credit now?
yeah, oh, fuck. I mean, like, yeah, you've had a real fucking time of it in terms of gigs as well, because your Ulster Hall show has been pushed a few times. I mean, is it? It's this year, isn't it? It's June this year.
I mean, it's
Is it?
supposed to be June. I think they're looking to like roll it back to September, and even then, I'm like, fucking push it back to next year. To fuck, like, I just don't want to. I hate the idea of like making another reschedule. I'm like, I would rather push it far enough to where it's like it's like it's bound to be going next year, like for example. So I'd rather push it back to then instead of like trying to get in on like the, you know, just the line of like things have just opened again, people are confident enough to go to public gatherings. Like I'll take it if I get it, but I'm not like seeking it out or anything.
Yeah, I would agree with what you're saying there, because I have Lisa has a cousin. She was actually a bridesmaid at my wedding, who was supposed to get married the May after I got married. So yeah, last May. But because of COVID, she's rescheduled it like 5 or 6 times. So now it's supposed to be this coming May. And then that doesn't look like that's going to happen. So she was saying like, well, I might push it back to like June or July. And you kind of just want to say, just push it to next year, man. Just shoot it on.
Aye.
To a time where A, it's definitely going to happen. And B, you can do it without the restrictions. Because as it stands, I think it's like 25 or maybe tops 50 people at your wedding, which when you're a tag, that's not really an option. Do you know what I mean? That's just your ma's brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? There's fucking shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember saying to someone in my work, and I was like, she was like, how many people were at your wedding? And we had 133 at my wedding, and that was considered small for, you know, people, particularly Strabane weddings and stuff. They're like, oh, that's quite small. And I was like, still fucking 130 odd people. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you're going to do anything, whether it's a wedding or like a stand-up show, do it free of any sort of restrictions, because I think that kind of dampens your experience. Maybe it wouldn't ruin your gig, but you know, it would just be better to like have a date where people are like, oh, this is just a normal gig. We know exactly how to do things, instead of it going ahead where they're like, well, I have to wear a mask until I sit down, and can I get up and go to the bar, and wee things like that. Because I assume even in the Ulster Hall, how the fuck can you do anything? Like if it went ahead in June, would you be able to go up and just go to the bar? Because usually when the restrictions were lifted, you had to stay seated and it was all table service. You can't do that in the Ulster Hall. Like, good luck to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And those balconies, man, carrying big trays of shit. Good luck. Here, that's a claim. You know what I mean? Fuck.
Exactly. That's a claim wouldn't happen. Like,
fuck, man, I got vertigo just doing photos up there for our squad gig. I was like, Jesus, fucking getting a nosebleed here. Scary shit, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, but now, fuck it. Like, it's just like, you can't just, I don't know, you just roll with it. And it's like, whenever shit's open, it's open. Like, we're heading out in July now, and I have a couple of things I want to do whenever I'm out there. Like, I want to start my own kind of comedy night somewhere. I want to like pick a decent bar.
Good
and just sort of set it up to where each week I can do a night, host it, and then like just fly any of the boys out, fucking do a spot. And do you know what I mean? Like that to me is enticing for this year. That's the kind of shit I want to be doing, just getting more out in the scene out there when it opens up. And yeah, I don't know. I think you kind of just have to realign like what it is that you want to do this year with like everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Like what you can do.
It's like someone described it. I think I seen, was it on Twitter? Someone described this whole lockdown as like forced perspective, where it was, you know, I'm sure everyone's been in a situation, say in terms of stand-up, where they wanted to maybe take a break for a while. You know, sometimes you just get busy, or sometimes, you know, you're in a bad run of form in terms of gigs and stuff like that. Maybe take a step back for a few months, write a wee bit, kind of forget about stand-up for a wee while. But that's kind of difficult to do because you feel like you're missing out. And then when you see people at gigs and Insta stories and stuff like that there, and you're like, fuck, that'd be class. Whereas because this lockdown came in, you know, you had to stop doing stand-up and either take a break from it or concentrate on other things. So it's like forced perspective. So that's what I try and sway towards this whole lockdown mostly, where you're like, at least it give you the chance to kind of think of things and what you wanted to really be doing, and having it taken away, sort of absence makes the heart grow fonder sort of thing. I mean, I won't say I'm itching to get back on stage, because I just keep feeling that the minute they go stand-up's back, there's going to be a lot of people going out to them. It's going to spike, and then it's going to be a semi-lockdown again. So I don't want to get excited about it, but I kind of feel now that I'm like, that having it taken away beyond my control kind of made me go, aye, this is something that, you know what I mean, do like doing. I know that sounds stupid, but it's weird, man.
I'm fucking foaming at the mouth, sir. I cannot wait to get back. Literally can't wait.
Yeah.
Because everything else is like, for me anyway, supplements of stand-up, like my podcast, vlogs, if I do them, it's all to essentially make the main core element to get better. Like, as in more people at the shows, more sales, getting your name out there more. But like, yeah, stand-up's the bread and butter. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, for sure.
That's my main thing.
Have you been writing much? Because I know your Ulster Hall shows, obviously a show that you had written ages ago. I know that feels like ages ago as well, by the way, that you even announced that, man. That feels like a decade ago.
This is the thing. That show, right? Yeah. That show, I am fucking gasping to get it out of my system, because the show itself, majority of it is about a breakup I had like 3 years ago. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, can I please just fucking move? It feels like I can't move on with my life until I get this fucking show done.
Fucking hell.
Because I'm like, I'm so over it. But the fact that like I have to sit down with material that's like about that time and like deliver it, just something feels so fucking weird about it. And then, you know, you might be like, well, write a new show. And it's like, well, I can't, because I've nowhere to practice or like test shit out, or I don't want to do a show that's just about the pandemic. You know what I mean? So
exactly. Oh, wasn't it mad? I mean, that's the big fear. Is I wrote a few things about it, but it's like very quick bits, or at the bare minimum, it's like used as an introduction to a bigger like premise that I have. But I'm dreading just any comedy nights where it's just like, wasn't that mad? Haircuts, struggle to get them. And sure, substantial meal. What's it? Oh, substantial. Yeah. What's that? You know what I mean? You wear the mask and you raise your breath stinking. Aye. And you're like, oh my God, like I'm dreading that banal shite, man. And it's gonna happen. And I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it no sweat.
Sir, you would love this. This sounds like literally a bit me or you would write, but it's like an actual thing that happened to me.
Right.
So like literally 2 Sundays ago, right? Had Sunday dinner at the house, and then me and my mum were just sitting there, and she was like, again, such a Tyrone thing. She's like, I'd love something sweet to taste my mouth. After having like a feed of fucking meat and like spuds, like champ. And I put my mask on and went down to the shop. Like there's a shop like 50-minute walk from us. And I was walking to the shop, and literally all I could think about, I had my headphones on, I was listening to music, and I couldn't even take in the wordsmithery, sir, from Kendrick Lamar, because the gas mask of scallions going up my nose.
Yeah, fucking hell,
was insane.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It would put you off wanking. You're like, you don't, like, I wouldn't even wank myself. I'm not unattractive. You know what I mean? Fucking, like, seriously, man, it's that like the mask, it's warm too. It's wild warm. That's the thing I noticed. Like, you come back and your face is sweating, and you're like, plus, see, when you wear glasses too, man, you look like that creepy yellow cunt from Sin City. You just look like a wee rare bastard. And you're like, I showered before this, and now I need to shower again because my hair is greasy. You know what I mean? Steams up and all, and then you're like, looking like a fucking...
It's warm, sir.
Sir, it's wild warm.
It's an immersion with 2 strings.
It's just like a fucking dirty nappy around the ears, man. It's fucking stinking. You brush your teeth like 6 times a day, and you're like, here, still smells like shite in here.
So there's going to be a cold game famine after this, carry on.
Oh man, it's fucking. I wonder if there's any people who've been living in like Europe and like warm countries during this pandemic will have like tan, except they'll have the tan line like around where the mask used to be. So they're like a fucking idiot. Just like I've been wearing a G-string over my bake for the last fucking year. Did it take you long to get used to wearing the mask? Because I thought at the start it was horrendous. It's still not great. I'm used to it now, but did it take you long to get used to it?
I remember, like, I worked in the tattoo studio, so I was like receptionist there. So every time a customer would come in, I'd get the mask on. And I remember Dom, who I work with, the tattoo artist, would complain so much about the mask.
Yeah.
And I would tell him to fuck up. So I couldn't complain about it then because I'd be a hypocrite. So I just sat there in anger, being like, this fucking thing sucks.
It's fucking bally. Trying to eat a Greg sausage roll. Fuck's sake.
Putting a whole packet of fucking Tic Tacs in my mouth.
just Listerine wherever you go. Just have like Listerine, keys, wallet, phone, and just pound shots it. Like Don Draper.
Just turn yourself into a Pez dispenser.
It's the weirdest time, man. You must have had some size of mask too, sure. Yours must have been a fucking bad.
It was just a duvet, sir.
16 tog. Tell you what, it's fucking weird.
King size duvet.
Oh fuck, man. It took me a while. Now it's still annoying, still stinking and sweaty, and you do feel like you've been in a sauna. But hopefully, it does seem now, I don't know what it's like down in Oma. I know when I was in Strabane recently, it does seem like people are listening now and going, why don't we just stay in the house? I feel like it's taken everybody here the amount of time to get fed up with COVID for them to listen to the stuff. I feel like even that first lockdown, there was a lot of people not really doing anything in terms of washing their hands and masks and stuff like that. It took post-Christmas, everybody's fed up and a bit skint to just go, fuck it, let's stay in because this is boring. And that's what it is now. It's just boring. It really is. Like, it's tough going.
What's on your agenda? What's on Rory Woods' agenda for as soon as everything's open up again? Like, what are you going to get up to?
Again,
China be on the cards for you?
China. Tell me this, because Tim, good friend of the show, and obviously your podcast co-host, Tim Gallagher, told me China's not there anymore. And if it is, it's not called China. He was telling me when we...
it is. It's a different name, but I do believe that the business itself of Fill Your Box is alive and well.
Yeah. Is it still £4 though? That's what I want to know.
I think so, yeah. I think so. Like, I've had like a lot of fucking Chinese buffets in my time, and I have the the scar tissue to prove it. But like, China, honestly, is one of the best ones.
Man, well, you remember when we first met, you stayed in my flat. Obviously, my flat was like 3 or 4 down from China. So I practically lived there. I didn't sit in a while up, but see, just the wee £4 Fill Your Box. And do you remember the wee guy? And I'm sure this is like the case for all Chinese that offer the service of Fill Your Box. The wee guy that would watch you, because obviously they say fill your box, but you have to make sure that the lid closes. And you had the wee man that would like kind of watch you.
Aye.
The wee guy, like the wee fucking hall monitor, box monitor with like fucking Noel Edmonds, the Chinese here, checking out your boxes. And you had to kind of have like howl it closed. Like, it's grand. I always howl it like this. Get like the powder.
Aye.
Power lifting it. Just going, how many more onion rings do you... And I told you the story the last time we spoke to you about the guy who put ice cream in his. Did I tell you that? Last podcast.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious.
Just for anybody that didn't hear that episode, the guy filled the box with like beef and black bean, squid, prawn toast, spring rolls, chicken balls, satay sauce, and then a whole dump of vanilla ice cream over the top. And you're like,
dirty bastard.
Yeah, dirty cretin. That's the only way I can describe it. But I miss, like, I was in China once. Honestly, man, I was in there. I think I was going to see New Found Glory in Dublin because obviously I was 29, so why not? They were so busy, man. They had no plates. They had no plates left, man. So I was just like, what am I
Hang
going
on. So, so, so before you went to see a pop punk band,
Yeah.
you got a feed from China. Man, I can't think of a worse thing to do before any concert than going to an all-you-can-eat Chinese.
The gig was in Dublin too. It was stupid. Swear to God. The Academy in Dublin. My friend's over.
So hang on, you got in a bus
Oh, aye, sir.
with that in your system?
Oh, aye, sir.
Oh,
Should've-
Jesus, sir, you're a stronger man than I am.
I was young. I was a young man. If I did it now, I would need to like book time off work to go to sleep. And I need to take a long run up for all you can eats now where I'm like, and I have to be super tactical about it because I don't want to get a dicky tummy, obviously. So as my dad would say. I always feel like there is tactics to all you can eat. See the people that just go mad from the start. No. Rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Don't agree with it. Like,
Got to get the plate of like appetizers to begin with. Get your sesame seed toast in there. Get your kind of like wings and shit like that. You know what I mean? Maybe an odd chicken ball here or there. You gotta really. It's a pyramid, man. You gotta build it brick by brick.
I actually think what I'm going to do when the lockdown lifts is I'm going to do a China vlog, and I want you to narrate it just like you did there now. Chicken wings and all that shit. She's got a wee chicken ball there. Oh, Trout's going for the prawn toast. She loves it. She chews a dick. There we go. Get it in, you flour. Then someone puts ice cream on the top. You dirty fucking...
That is, man. That's I want to see if that guy's still living actually now. I'd like a update on that guy's health.
Imagine your shites, man. Do you know what I mean? If you've had the cusp of a Chinese buffet and then a lot of fucking Dale Farm over the top, it'll come out smooth. But can you get like brain freeze on your arsehole?
I do believe they call it taint freeze.
Taint freeze. Oh Jesus! Like, I mean, do you find now every takeaway makes me shite like a newborn baby Viking, man? Like every takeaway, and I've been flat out in takeaways like everybody during all this jazz. Like have you been going flat out in Oma? Because I suppose Giuseppe's and then McDonald's, Greg's still in Oma.
No, man, it fucking died. I still can't believe that. Like,
really,
we couldn't keep a fucking Greg's here. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People going, sir, if you can't put it on a fucking on a bread base, I want nothing to do with it. Unless you can put it in the pizza oven or get a some only contract for it, I've no interest.
I need a bolt on and fucking bruschetta. Do you know what winds me up? Like, I love Greg's. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan. But I think, have you ever went to Greg's and you say, give us 2 sausage rolls, and they're like, no worries, but they're going to be cold. Is that okay? Do you ever have that? Does that ever happen?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Explain, how can that happen? I'm like, look at that big fucking transformer behind you. Does that not do anything? They're like, they're going to be cold. I'm like, all right. Like, that doesn't happen anywhere else. If you went to Giuseppe's, get a margarita, like, it's going to be Baltic. Is that all right? You'd be like, no. No, it's not, because I prefer my feet warm. I'm not eating gazpacho here, you fucking rude. Just heat it up.
It's a PG way of saying it's gonna be shite.
It's been under this light for an hour and a half, and somehow it's cold. And I'm just like, well, why don't you do something about it then? Like, I fucking heat it up. I honestly, I was flabbergasted the first time I said it's gonna be cold there. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, well, I don't want this cappuccino then. She's like, what are you? Can I get a mocha? You can, but see the water in that kettle, it's fucking freezing. I'll be like, why don't you boil the bastard? What is that, man? What is that about? Like, honest, that doesn't happen anywhere else.
It's to be honest, I have thought about that before, about how Greg's is a sort of lottery system where you can go in. I feel like that's why when people talk about they don't like it, I feel like they've had a bad first experience where they have one in and got something lukewarm or indeed Kyle, which is no good.
Yeah. I think like if you go there for the first time and you get the pizza slice, which is terrible. The pizza
slice is the worst.
Unless you want
to eat. That's the worst.
It's like a flat pack.
Have.
It's stinking, man. But if you go in and get a sausage roll at the right time, particularly when they're warm, oh, sir, if you haven't had a warm sausage roll, check them out. Like an influencer, just hopping on here to say, life hack, heat up your sausage rolls and it'll blow your mind.
It goes Kyle vegan hot.
Man, have you ever had the vegan stuff out of Greg's?
I had the vegan sausage roll, yeah.
Chat to me. What was it? Honestly, was it nice?
Like all vegan or healthy stuff, you're like, it's good for what it is, like, but it's still not the original thing it's mimicking.
It's kind of like,
it's like like them like Skinny Whip bars and stuff like that, like diet chocolate bars.
Oh yeah.
Like those there, I think, are a big scam because it's like there's still 110 calories, and for that you could have like an actual bit of chocolate. So it's like, why would I have this thing that is chocolatey enough to remind me what chocolate tastes like? It's a milk chocolate cocktail is what it is. And then you have that just horse of Freddo and you fuck up.
Yeah, get the Tars bars in you fucking root end. I don't even think I'm still not over the lack of Taz bars in the world, because now it's caramel Freddo and you're like, still nice, but I prefer the Taz bar. I prefer the iconography of the bar. Do you know what I mean?
Watch them bring it out in like 5 years to capitalize on nostalgia in some regard.
Man, do you think that's going too far, nostalgia? Because now I seen a band I like on their website have tapes now. You can buy tapes.
Oh, why?
And I'm like, what do you play it on though? Like, can you buy a tape player anymore? I wouldn't even know. Do you think it's going too far, nostalgia?
Here's the thing though. I have absolutely no right to talk shit about it, right? Because literally this week, fucking dickhead over here spent money on one of these jokes.
Is that a be fucking what's disposable? Is that what that is?
It's a fucking film camera, sir.
Jesus, I didn't even think you could get them.
Oh, sir, you can get them. There's a whole market out there for them. We need to see this. Hang on. There you are, sir. You'll see that now in 8 months.
Taking in the bits. When you develop them, please. That's comedian Rory Woods, and that's my ball bag there, and another one, and that's the dog in front of the fireplace there. Tell you, there's always one auntie that just took loads of photos and never got anything developed. Like, I got photos from your Christmas.
Oh, what?
Like, I'm 45. You know what I mean? Your Christmas was lit. Tell you what, we went to a Chinese buffet beforehand. That was great.
Oh, it's mad. Like, I remember too, like, we used to go on family holidays, and like my mom would take pictures of all this shit, like the wee disposables, come home, me fucking meeting Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and all the pictures just of my idol's thumbs.
Well, you have to love it. There was always,
which I think would have been.
Oh, mate, there was always like the fucking like going, did that work? Nah, it didn't.
Yeah.
All right, give it a second. And they do the wee
Yeah.
And it's still not fucking working. Take your palm off it. Fucking mad, huh? Oh, mate, I miss it. But again, I think nostalgia's going. What's the word? It's got like cool shit. You know what I mean? Like there is good elements to it. Where you're like maybe if you see a band or something come back, and I mean like a good band. I don't mean like if the Cheeky Girls are playing the Odyssey. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Although,
I would go see that though for the
now, you
crack.
know what? Post lockdown, so would I. I was like considering scouting for girls at one point there, and they're shit. They're shit. Elvis was in bed. Is it all right? Cheers. Yeah, oh mate, I would go see anything. You know what I mean? That's why people are buying tickets to see us. I don't think it's anything to do with us. I think they're just like, I will go. Fuck
Absolutely.
it. Nobody gives a
Absolutely.
shit. What is this? Aaron McCann was he? He's a ventriloquist or something? And you come out just fucking, bought a film camera. Do you remember China? Oh man, it's fucking my hair's mad. What else was I going to ask you about? So yeah, the London move that should happen, and then starting your own gig, and then you've done a few stand-up yokes in London as well. Like so, but like, will you? I assume you'll miss like Lavery's and stuff like that there. But where was the best place you've done in London? Because I know you did like you've done quite a few bits over there, haven't you? Reasonable amount.
Yeah, I would go like I just literally went once and like was lucky enough to sort of do like a couple of clubs out there.
Mm.
And like the I Lavery's to me is the gold standard. So like I'm comparing every comedy club that I ever go to Lavery's, just in terms of like everything, in terms of organization, atmosphere, lineups, like quality of acts, everything to Lavery's.
Yeah.
And the most Lavery's type place was a spot called Top Secret.
Right.
And it's literally like, because it's like purpose built. That's the thing too with like comedy clubs, where it's like the place is purpose built for stand up. The guy who runs it knows what he's at. And it's like 2 rooms. And like, I think the top room is like 90 seats. The bottom room's like just under 200. And it's just fucking, it's just a riot. Like, you do the first gig upstairs, you immediately go downstairs and you get to do your set instantly again. So for if you come off stage and you're wondering about, you know, a couple of tweaks here and there, like things you'd want to alter, you can immediately try it out downstairs. So that's always good crack.
That's awesome, because you don't really have any equivalent here. I can't think of anything where you could run between 2 gigs immediately. But I think like in terms of your writing style, obviously having gigged in LA and London, has your approach to writing changed? I mean, do you still do you designate time to write, or is it more notes on your phone that you expand upon when you're on stage? Or how does it work for you since you've been to all these
At
places?
the minute, like literally fuck all. Like at the minute, I've just been sort of like kind of like what you were saying earlier, where it's like, I'm very aware of the fact that, you know, fingers crossed, we'll never have to live like this ever again. So we're never gonna get this time back. So to me, I'm like, if I can take a lot of months and just completely plug out from everything in terms of like stand up or, you know, things you want to get done, I'm like looking into other projects on the side, but
Yeah.
like nothing to where it's like crazy or anything like that. And I think that once I go in July, that'll be me kind of like, that'll just be me being like, all right, fuck it. You know, you had the time to do sweet fuck all. Now it's time to get to work and actually get shit going and like motivate yourself and do some writing. And London move for me is just like, what I loved about LA was the fact that I could get on stage every night. Now the quality of stage time is obviously questionable. Like, you know,
Yeah.
some spots you go to and it's just completely fucking dire. You know yourself, like.
Yeah.
But I still like that. I just like getting to do it. So that to me, that makes the most sense to me personally. Like there's obviously other cities you can go to that are like,
Yeah.
a couple of other comedians have been like, you know, Liverpool or Manchester is a cheaper alternative or something like that. But there isn't a place that has more gigs on week by week than London. So I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck it. That's where I'll go for now.
Makes sense, man, for sure. Because do you think then, because of all this fucking lockdown shit, that, you know, every comedian, and I mean every single comedian, is more open now to just doing any gig because it's been away for so long, and even when there was a few gigs floating about in the middle of lockdown, it ranged from Colin's office to Vittorio Angeloni's garden to the Hatfield to, you know, outdoor stuff. I mean, like there would be certain comedians, and maybe myself included, where you'd be like, I'm not doing that. You know, pre-COVID, where they're like, do you want to go do an outdoor gig? Just because the way I do stand-up, I'd be like, nah, that wouldn't suit me, really. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Whereas now, I think every comedian be like, I'll do whatever. I'll do it in an abattoir, no bother. I'll do it in TK Maxx,
Yeah.
no sweat. You know what I mean? You don't have that.
Yeah.
The shackles are lifted now, I think.
And it's good too, because like nothing humbles you more than doing a shite gig.
Yeah, at any
Like
level.
nothing. There's no better reset. It's like getting a slap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
a verbal slap.
any guy I ever see that has like serious ego, I'm like, I guarantee that cunt hasn't had a slap in a while.
Oh,
It's the same with stand up.
Yeah. It's like it's a really good thing, because I think, not that I don't think there's been a lot of ego in our scene personally. I think everybody's
No.
I think everybody's got, they're assured of their level and their ability, and I think everybody, like the amount of everybody walks off stage here, even when they've killed, going fuck this bit up. Do you know what I mean? That's what I've noticed about all of us. Like anybody, those big charity gigs and all we did, everybody always smashed, but nearly everybody came off going, forgot to do this bit, or fuck, I forgot to do this line. And I think that's what makes our scene strong, man. Whereas like, you know, we're all self-assured, but everybody else, like in terms of crowds and other scenes, will go, that seems ridiculous now in terms of ability, but we don't see it like that. We're just kind of going, right, we're on to the next one. And
Yep.
I think too that what makes us so strong is, you know, we have a lot of the same people coming out to see us a lot, which is amazing. You know what I mean? But you'll have people that'll come see you. Say you announce 2 warm-up shows in the Black Box before your Ulster Hall show. You'll have people who are going to see you in Ulster Hall go to those, probably go to both, because people love it so much. But in general, because there's so many people coming to see you all the time, you've had to write new stuff. That's the biggest thing now that I've got perspective to go, fucking hell. You look at everybody's doing solo shows and you're like, that's at least that person's 4th fucking hour of material. Whereas elsewhere, you know, people would maybe do the same set for 10 years and then be like, oh, I might do an hour now. Where you're like, fucking, like Shane's on his whatever, Dave's on his whatever, like everybody's, and at least 3, I'd say. And you think even Jordan Robinson's already got 1 in the can. Do you know what I mean? His Pig Heart show. And then fucking Robbie McShane's got 1 or 2.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then you're at what? What did you do? You did your Stroll show. What was that called again? The Stroll show.
The Height of Nonsense.
Height of Nonsense. And then Buckfast Die Young. Was that the next one?
Buckfast Die Young was the next one. Mandela, yeah.
Yeah, Culture in America. And then Happy Enough. Happy Enough is your 4th. And I assume there's probably a 5th in the pipeline. I mean, that's ridiculous. If you told people in New York that, they'd be like, not only have you got 5 hours of material, but you've done it in venues and people have bought tickets to come see it. Like, that must be mental to people outside of our scene. But that's the way we had to do it. You're like, you had to keep writing shit, because people would be like, people here would tell you, I've heard that before. They would say,
oh, I've had people do that to me before. I've had people quote my jokes like in the crowd as I'm doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. But I think it's great. Like I think that our scene is like, I think most people here have been working in the dark kind of for so long that it's like if you put anybody from here on the quote unquote best stages in the country, they're gonna fucking smash it. If you took any of the boys from over here, like the names you mentioned there, Shane, Mickey, Geddes, Jordan Robinson, William Thompson, like all these people, Robbie McShane, and you put them on any big club at all, they're gonna like make the next act after them from that area go, holy fuck, I need to like bring out my best shit here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree, man.
I truly do think that it's just gonna take a bit of time.
Oh, for sure. I think you know, it's going to be cool when you're, you know, when everybody's back to normal, and say it'll be obviously unusual because you'll be obviously in London maybe by the time that happens. But have you done the standard sort of human man thing of scoping out food spots in London that you want to try? You know what I mean? Because I
Oh
assume
man,
it's probably
I literally
it's the main reason you want to go. Probably there's a good falafel place, and
that's literally the one area of my life where I have like fucking like like Gary Vaynerchuk organization skills. Is
yeah,
like I have a full list of places I want to try, dishes that are very popular in the establishment,
yeah,
and like a little section for my own take on it.
yeah. Awesome, man. Is it like I know that like isn't like chicken's a big thing out there? Fried chicken is big in
Chicken
London.
shop culture, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's huge. I mean, and again, that's something that I think I've always been curious about because obviously you lived in Belfast for ages. Outside of KFC, there's been maybe one or two wee gaffs that did fried chicken, and but it's not really
Yeah.
a big. It's never been a big thing since I've been. There was is it Harrods or something like that? Is that the name? It's a place
Yeah.
called like that. That was in Botanic or Herons. I don't know, but it was in Botanic for a while. But I've always said, imagine somewhere that was like legit fried chicken. Just some guy, the same way that like barbecue ran or, Tribal Burger. One of those guys is going. I'm going to just start doing fried chicken. Same sort of setup as
Yeah.
KFC, buckets, gravy, chips, and it's never really happened. It's very unusual to me that in somewhere like Belfast where the food scene's fucking tremendous, that no one's done that yet.
What's like our go-to? Because like the chicken over there is like, do you ever see like the YouTube videos and all of like people going into them? We just like they look like shitholes on the outside shops, and you go inside and it's like a fucking fillet burger, like 4 wings, chips, and a drink for like £3.
Yeah, I've seen wee bits here and
Like,
there. I was like, was he
do we have anything like that over here? Like, what's our cheap go-to thing over here?
in terms of chicken or in general? Do you mean? Sorry, like
Not just like general, like what's our like it's almost
Greg's.
like a gimmick how
Greg's
stupid
is
cheap it is.
Greg's is probably the
Greg's.
cheapest. Chicken licking, I've never been, but is it cheap? It's a fucking pound of shite, so it must be. Chicken licking,
Uh,
maybe something like that. I can't even, because everywhere's got deer now. I don't know. Like I find even like, do you remember Subway used to do sub of the day for like a fiver, wasn't it?
yes, that's right.
No,
That's right.
it's like £8 now. You go and get like a drink and a foot long and a pack of quavers, and you're like, here, I get an overdraft, will I? Because Jesus Christ, I mean, my credit rating's fucked now because no chance of a mortgage because I wanted fucking smoked cheese. You know what I mean? Do you think everything's got dearer and smaller? That's such an ultra old man thing to say. Everything's more expensive.
That is I was about to
Fucking
say
minuscule. Oh,
that is old boy Tyrone right
oh,
there.
I'm such a root. You used to get a bag of McCoys and it would be full to the brim. These days, it's the bottom third, and it's not even not even real spud. It's not a Mars Piper. It's fucking spud flavored yite. It's fucking stew. Again, that's me getting old, man. But that's definitely the case. I mean, like, there's no real cheap and cheerful but lethal place. Maybe to an extent, Maggie Mays, to an extent, because you could, depend on what you get, you still get the bumper fry for about £6-7.
You just came up with a cracking slogan there, by the way. There will be a company that will try and nab this. I guarantee it. That you just said. What did you just say there? Cheap and cheerful, but lethal.
Cheap and cheerful but lethal. The Aaron McCann story.
Good night, Irene.
Yeah. If Louis Theroux was making a documentary about you, that's what it would be called. Cheap and cheerful but lethal. Fucking hell, man. Yeah, I can't think anywhere. I'd say maybe, depending on what you get, as I say, Maggie Mays, maybe. Maybe that's kind of depending on what you get.
Speaking of like studenty kind of carry on, have you drank this year yet?
Twice.
Twice. I literally am having my first like sort of mini session this weekend.
Oh really?
And I forgot about the fact that I haven't drank at all. I just haven't fucking sat down in the house and had a few drinks.
I think it's just like anything. I didn't drink a wild lot even when the first lockdown came in, but I had like any occasions and stuff. But like this year, I've no desire to do it. I just don't see like usually if I'm watching football, I'll be like, oh, I can get a few beers in for that Saturday or something. Nah. And then because I'm fucking Strabane man pensioner now, I'm like 138 in Strabane years, man, 4 beers, I die the next day, sir. I die a solid death. And Lisa's given me the last rites and everything on that third bottle of Budweiser. I'm just like, can't do it, man. The guilt I get is fucking.
Oh,
I don't get the books. I don't get the odd shite here and there. I'll be partial to a wee shite. The guilt, man, fucking wrecks me.
that's what it is, man. It's emotional turmoil. It's not even like any physical hangover symptoms. It's just a 3-day bender of emotional turmoil.
Man, because you think if you're hungover and you're like, I'm gonna boke, you get the boke ID, you feel powerful. You're like, happy days, it's done. It's like ripping a plaster. The worst bit is obviously the build up to the boke where you know it's going to happen. And I'm not the type of person where I can't force it. I can't be like, get your fingers down your throat and fucking boke. I can't do it. You know what I mean? I respect myself too much.
You have to believe in it.
Oh yeah, you have to commit. Do you know what I mean? Fingers down the throat. I couldn't do it. So like the worst bit is obviously thinking, I know I'm going to boke at some point. Then you feel fine for a wee while. Then it kind of hints at it for 20 minutes. You're like, fuck, it's definitely coming. Then it subsides, and then it fucking comes out like a wood chipper. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking insane. But at least when the boking's done and you get your last wee bokes where it's just plain clear water, it's like Ballygowan coming out of your mouth. You're like, I'm in the home stretch now. And then you feel all right. You sort of take a second and you're like, your nose always runs when you boke. Do you ever get that? My nose always.
That's how you know you're boking hard.
Oh, big time. And then you feel powerful when it's done. Same way if you get the shites, you're like, I'll bust through these shites. I'll lose my security deposit on the flat, but at least it's done. Do you know what I mean? And I'll have to get the whisk in a plastic bag and fucking flush it. But with the guilt, man, you just can't go, oh, I'll feel guilty for half an hour. But no matter how much water you drink, how much Baraka you shove up your hole, the guilt doesn't go away.
Yeah. You can't put all the Ballygowan in the world down your throat. It won't get rid of that guilt, sir.
You can't get rid of it. And it's
the horrors, man.
Oh, and it doesn't get any better because if you've been out with mates and then you get the WhatsApp from one of them later going, fucking hell, sir, what about last night? And you're like, I don't want to talk about it ever again. I want like one of those Men in Black things, you know, ding, ding, and then it's done. I don't even remember.
Is it weird though that I must even all the shite elements of drinking? Like that sounds great to me right now.
What, like getting the horrors and stuff? No, I see what you mean. I mean, you were obviously a Thompson's regular. I mean, when was the last time you were in Thompson's?
Fuck ages, man. I see though uni right now though. I was only at uni for the rep, essentially. That was the only reason I was there.
Yeah.
Like that's the only reason I stayed on for the 4 years. So like I just fucking like if you look at pictures of me before first year uni, hilarious.
Yeah, it's like fucking Breaking Bad or something.
Yeah, literally yes.
I mean, I've never been to Thompson's, but when the restrictions left, if we can go to Thompson's before you go to London, do you want to go?
Oh, are you joking?
That would be my going away.
There in a heartbeat.
I'd be going there, and I'd be going, excuse me, could you play some New in Glory? Do you have any would you have any Offspring? Conspiracy of One's good album? No.
No, that's a Limelight 2 kind of vibe there.
Oh, for sure, man. But again, that could be your going away present because again, I've slagged Thompson's and stand up, but I've never been. Like, and I'm sure it's not as bad as people let on. But is it? Like, what's the worst thing you've heard about Thompson's?
The worst thing I've heard. I just remember like again, like first year uni, haven't really been exposed to drugs at all, like unless it was on Skins.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen drugs except that it was on E4 essentially. And just the first time seeing like a crowd of boys in one cubicle and just like Tyrone innocence being like, are they just in there like telling each other deep secrets and all?
They're infrared and each other. Holding phones together. Who let the dogs out, Deggy? 10 minutes or something.
Sorry, do you mind coming down to the toilet, send me a DJ Cammy song, if you wouldn't mind?
I want a fucking Flim Morrison, from the Doors. Gives one of his tunes. Flimmy Hendrix, gives a bit of him.
Flimmy World.
It just takes some time in the middle of a fucking pandemic. Flimmy World. Oh, that's amazing. I absolutely love that.
Some band, sir. I saw them live.
Did you?
Oh, they did support. Do you remember that time Eminem did Tenants Vital and he had the most random fucking lineup of support before him?
Yeah, I remember that.
Like it was them, the Kaiser Chiefs. It was the first time I'd seen Odd Future live as well. It was just the most random fucking like collection of acts.
Do you see when you saw the Kaiser Chiefs? Did they do that song? The one that goes, Did they do that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's every fucking song. I'm going to get a Greg's or something like that. I predict a riot. Must have went down a storm at that gig. Jesus Christ.
Oh, sir, it was lethal.
Yeah.
It nearly brought back the troubles. Honest to God.
Imagine that, just the Kaiser Chiefs bringing back the troubles. Fucking hell. Yeah, so if we can go to Thompson's before you go, we should do that for the crack.
I would love that, would you?
Yeah, but I doubt it'll happen. But we will leave it. I'll leave you on that. Thanks very much for coming on the pod as always. It's good to see you.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah, and
good time.
We'll do a fake goodbye, sure, but we'll stay in the room, sure, for the banter. So we will. So thanks again, Mr. Mc Cann. Tickets are on sale for the Ulster Hall still from their website. So follow Mc Cann on Insta for all the link in bio. Do you know what I mean? I hate that. Link in bio. It's like a per man's Lincoln Park, right?
The bio.
Link in bio. You know what I mean? So yeah, get tickets to his Ulster Hall show and then move to London so you can go see him there as well.
I do.
Right? You know, and heard about of him, and you can find him on Tags list. It's all good, and and his house is going up on Airbnb. So
Tags list and home tree.
You have to love it. Anyway, thanks very much again, man, for coming on the pod. Good to see you as always.
Absolutely, sir. Good seeing you.
You
and
too,
thank
man.
you to your listeners.
Take it easy. All the best.